Hi, I'm Jess. Welcome to If Not For This podcast, where we dive into all of the choices and unexpected moments that shape who we are. Today, I get to have moral support over in this other seat. Is it Jay Norman? Much prettier. I have someone so incredibly special to me that I cannot even imagine has come and agreed to sit next to me. If you took all of the really wonderful things about her dad and mixed it with anything worthy that you could find in me to make a person, you would almost come up with someone as wonderful as my oldest daughter here. Her name is Lily. And you would almost create someone as great as her. She is first hilarious, but she is also strong, capable, so kind. And if you have the honor to be loved by her, you may just get a chance to see these big old crocodile tears come from her big old blue eyes and get a chance to see just how big her heart is. I'm honored to be her mama. Lily, I want to tell you thank you for sitting here with me today. It's not always, it's always kind of awkward to be sitting here by myself and just talking. I'm sorry to tell y'all that it's awkward, but it is. I try to imagine hearing what you're saying while you're listening to me, and two of my good girlfriends will speak to me as they're listening to the episodes. But either way, to have somebody sitting in this seat and just being here is just so nice, Lily. So when we sat down to record this morning, and I was telling you guys about the great things about her dad mixed with the great things about me, even though Lily was full throttle ready to come on this show, and I had a little bit of apprehension because I've never wanted her or her siblings to feel like I wasn't protecting her privacy. I never wanted to feel, even though I made some missteps in the beginning, I never wanted us to feel like a vlog family where she couldn't give consent for all of that content. But as soon as she turned 18, I was like, oh, Lily, you can come on the show whenever you feel ready. And Lil, how old did you just turn?
20.
So 2 full years, 2 full years. And she has been so willing and able to come and do this show with me and tell y'all this amazing story of hers that she has. But as soon as we sat down to these mics, it was very evident that she did not get the want to sit in front of a mic with headphones like her mama. And that is completely normal. And so she has agreed to sit next to me, but this is not going to look exactly the way maybe a normal interview show would look. And that's okay, Lil, because we're just going to pivot.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how you can make things work better in this world without strangling and suffocating and bullying a situation into what you want it to be. And sometimes just pivoting and being flexible and being along for the ride. So again, Lil, thank you for not leaving our space and sitting here next to me. Another reason I thought it might be wonderful for Lil to sit here is because even though this might not look the way that I thought it might look, she still graciously is going to let me tell you the story that I wanted her to tell today. And why I think it might be neat for her to be here is, A, she can tell me how I'm butchering it, because y'all know I like to butcher a story. And B, she's here as kind of a confirmation as, yeah, that did happen in my life. And then as Lily gets a little more comfortable, if she wants to add in details here and there, she can. Real quick though, Lily, because this can be a short answer. How do you feel about small talk or overhead lighting? Or do you have the same feelings as me with the overhead lighting and small talk?
Oh, yes.
You do?
Yeah.
So Lil's story, if she'll allow me to tell it, kind of stems from the anxiety that she and I share through middle school and high school. Kind of social anxiety started rearing its head. Is that what they say? Rearing?
Yeah.
Is that the word? And so that started coming about. I am someone that is definitely extroverted with a buttload of anxiety. Her dad, I think he would be okay for us to say, but we'll ask him, is way more introverted with the same amount of anxiety. So Lil's anxiety pops up in places that can feel a little catch you off guard.
Yeah.
Right. And so as middle school drew into high school, that social anxiety started becoming a little more prevalent. And that's when we were all trying to help and realize that Lil didn't invent that. That came from somewhere. That came from us, and it was passed down. So then it caused us to kind of look inwardly on if we can figure out how to help the things, because you were essentially a mirror. When we were seeing you go through those things, we were like, oh, shoot, that's what we do. But we were doing it a little bit more quiet because we were adults. And so it was like we were looking inward to know if we can figure out the tools and use the tools on ourselves, then this is how we can learn how to help Lily. And so Lil, it's just been really neat to watch you navigate through that. But I say that because the lore is important. So for Lily, I think what we saw was when I was going through school, I was with youth group and big groups, and we ran in numbers. We ran I swear we ran 30 deep in high school. And as Lily's my oldest child, and she got to that high school social scene first, I saw her keeping either a friend or a boyfriend. You just ran in these real small circles. Mm-hmm. And when it came to social settings, those were not really your bag. And when it came to group, you played basketball, you were amazing at basketball. But when they would go on their team building retreats and stuff, wasn't really for Lil.
No, not at all.
So, when I tell this story, I say Lil was more of a eat lunch in the bathroom.
Once or twice.
Get away. Once or twice. Get away from the social setting that was high school. So we go to orientation at her college. And even though Lily is what I've just described to you, she doesn't look like that. So we walk into orientation, and she looks like the head cheerleader, and she looks like the person that's about to run this school. But she'd rather just quietly do her studies and get back to her boyfriend, or get back to her best friend, or get back to her sister and mama and brother and dad. And so I watched these girls eye her. And I asked Lily, I said, who is that? And she said, that's the sorority recruitment. And I was like, oh, good luck. Good luck. Because Lily looks like the person that would be the first person. She's dressed cute as hell. She is cute as hell. And I just remember being like, good luck. Well, as two girls approached her, I took their picture and I sent it to Jay's sister because she was of the same sorority. And they were like, we can send her recommendations. And I was like, texting my sister-in-law, no, you're missing the whole point. Lily would rather die than she would rather die. And she's just being nice to these girls. And my sister-in-law and one of my good friends was like, oh, we can send her some recs. And I'm just dying laughing. I'm like, y'all are as delusional as these girls. And Lil's not. She would, when hell will freeze over before Lily did a sorority from what we had seen from high school and middle school. Lily, stop me if I say something wrong, because you know how I've got a perspective and you have what really happened. So we go on our way. I guess that would have been in early summer or middle summer.
That was end of summer.
It was?
July. That was July because we got back from Hawaii and then went immediately after.
Okay. So just 1 month left for school.
No.
No? Was it?
No, we went while I was in school for orientation.
Senior year.
No, it was admitted students. It wasn't even like an orientation.
Oh, we were close to going to school.
No, that was before I graduated.
Got it. So you had a whole summer to kind of figure out things.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to me, her dad had set her down and said, Lil, go and be exactly who you want to be. You can reinvent yourself to whoever you want. Who knew your dad was that wise? It's usually the pep talks I'm giving her, but I love that he gets to be there were two main conversations that her dad had with her that molded this really cool story, and that one came first, and I didn't even know about it until after all of this happened. So we go through the summer. Jay and I, we've already told you on the show, but Jay and I took Lily and her brother. They're only 28 days apart. They're step twins. We took them to Hawaii, and we came back, and as our firstborns, this was going to be the moment that our kids went to school. We never had kids go to college. We never had kids leave the nest. We were absolutely terrified of what it was going to feel like, how heavy it was going to feel like, so I just kept pushing it off. And seriously, about a year before all of this happened, I was walking through the hallway, and just this elephant came and sat down on my chest about Lily. And so God and me and a pen and a paper with journaling and an old dirt road and just a lot of crying, I was allowed to get a lot of emotion out a year before. I don't think she knows this. A year before she left for school. So that when she did leave for school, it was very heavy, but I'd already done so much dealings about it that it wasn't as terrifying. And just like my mom said, I was so sad, but you were so excited when I left you at that dorm that I just couldn't be sad anymore. And that's honestly how I felt about Lily. So I think that brings us to, can we go right to moving
I had
day?
our actual orientation when we got back from Hawaii.
What was different about that one that would make me
That
remember?
I met my roommate
Yes.
that we didn't even think I was going to
Yeah.
get.
Oh, I love her roommate and her roommate's mom.
Yeah, and I don't think there was any tabling at that one, so there wasn't any more sorority stuff.
Okay.
But we talked about it with her, and I was like, well, she's going to rush and move into the house, and I'm going to be alone. And so it was just like yeah. But like, I didn't even know I was going to get a roommate. So that was like weird.
So then sorority stuff kind of put a hiccup in things for me because Lily her wonderful roommate found her. Well, then we were in fear of losing her roommate to the sorority that Lily would never touch, mind you.
Yeah.
So we go to move-in day. I don't know why we didn't have Jay, but it's honestly now, Lily, while I'm talking, I'm realizing.
I think Henley was moving in that day.
If we would have had, so I guess Jay was at Tech moving Henley in, and I was with you.
Mm-hmm.
If we would have had Jay, none of this would happen. We go to move Lily in, and it's her roommate and her mom, and Lily and me, and then Lil's dad. Well, all throughout the day, I just kept going, I need to get a Diet Coke, or I need us to go get some food. Jay is always on that. Mm-hmm. That's Jay's job. Like, he is going to single-handedly move your bed above his head into your room. But secondly, he's going to keep us fed, and y'all know he has that styrofoam cup. He's going to keep us fed and hydrated the entire day. So since we didn't have that, we had an entire, I bet you, it felt like 12 hours, right? I mean, the move-in...
It wasn't that long. It was like 10 to
3?
Maybe 2, because y'all had to leave to get...
10 to 2. We had to get back for carpool because I didn't have Jay. And then I've got mom and dad with you. So our kids are at school. Other kids are at school. So we went the whole entire day just not eating, not drinking. Lily went from having a fridge with ice in our kitchen to like a little mini fridge, but not really anywhere knowingly to fill up those big old cup. her and Henley would walk around with these huge jugs of water for like 5 years. And they moved into their dorms, and it's just not real. It doesn't really work with that lifestyle. You have to get kind of creative to find your ice, find your water. It's not the same as being at home. And so I will tell you that Lil's first day at school seemingly was kind of her first day without a lot of food and not much hydration, and Lil weighs nothing. And you can tell I'm leading you in to something else. So the next day, Jay and I had gone to stay downtown to kind of comfort ourselves. He came, Jay wasn't with Henley. He was with our guys in McKinney, had meetings. So I'm remembering it now. I caught back up to Jay in downtown McKinney, my happy place, to kind of comfort myself over leaving my first baby at school for the first time. And we go probably 24 hours from when I told her goodbye. And it was rough. It was a rough evening, and all the things that you can imagine. But I remember I'm laying in my bed and my phone rings, and it's got Lil's name on it. And I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, this is my first call from college. I cannot believe she's calling. I think in the hubbub of, because we had taken all of our sales team down to McKinney, and so just trying to like be with them and pour into them and tell them thank you for such a great year and lunch and shopping. I had gotten to distract myself a little bit. So when she called, it kind of pulled me right back into the moment. Oh, my baby went to college yesterday. And so it was my first phone call, and I say hello. Were you on the other end of the line?
No. No.
So I do kind of church this story up and say that my first phone call from college was from a paramedic. I lie. It was from Sydney.
Yeah.
And so my first phone call, I'm thinking is Lily, is a girl named Sydney, and she speaks so beautifully and professionally, and she's like, Miss Norman, my name is Sydney so-and-so. I am with Chi Omega Sorority. Unfortunately, Lily is not feeling well. She got a little too hot at our picnic. I don't know that Lily's even at a picnic for a sorority. Why is my daughter that I've just explained to y'all, why is she at a sorority picnic? What is happening? Do I need to teleport myself an hour away immediately? How can I get to my baby? And I'm like, is she okay? Can she talk to me? And she's like, she's just really dizzy. These are the things that we're doing, just so efficient. And I'm like, okay, thank you so much. So I get off the phone, call her dad, let her know what's going on, go find my husband wherever he is. And the second call comes in, that is from the paramedic, but it's a little more dramatic if I skip Sydney and tell the paramedic called first. Miss Norman, this is so-and-so with such and such county. I would like to take her to the hospital. She is not wanting to go. So I said, can I talk to her? I haven't got to talk to her. Can I talk to her? She says, yes, here she is. And she's like, Mom. And I'm like, Lil, no one saw. And she's like, everyone saw. I'm like, no one saw. You think everyone saw? No one saw. And I know everyone saw, but that's kind of our running joke when we do cry in public on accident, or when we do feel like we've made a fool of ourselves and everyone has seen. I'm like, no one saw. And so I'm like, do you want to go in? And you're like, Mama, nothing is wrong with me. I'm embarrassed. I don't want to go to the hospital for embarrassment. I am fine. Tell us exactly like kind of what went down, because I wasn't there. I can tell you what you told me happened, but it'd be better. coming from your...
So, like, in my roommate, she wanted to go see sorority, whatever. But we thought we were seeing a sorority that isn't even part of ours. Mm-hmm. They're like I don't really know how it works. But anyways, another girl from Chi Omega invited her. She said I could go with her.
Mm.
And so we went and met up with them and walked to this like meet and greet, meet the Greeks kind of thing. Like every Greek was there, the frats were there, all the sororities, all the D9s were there. And
so it's neat that no one saw. It's neat. They were all looking away. Had you had lunch?
I don't think so.
Yeah. And it was August.
Yeah.
Yeah. In Texas.
Yeah.
For everyone, that means above 100-degree temperatures.
Yeah, and the sun was out, and it was all outside because they were grilling or something.
Fest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were just talking to girls, and I was like rotating around a bunch of different girls. And I was talking to Sydney, my now sister, and I had a group of girls around me. Lakin is on the other side of the tent talking to other girls. And I'm like looking, and then I can't see anything, and then I'm on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, then nobody was looking.
No.
I looked around and I didn't see any eyes.
It's weird how no one.
And they got me like ice, and there was one girl that I didn't know who she was, but she was a Chi Omega, but she had graduated. And so it's like kind of funny to see. She was kind of helping out with the whole planning thing. And so she was like, we have to call the ambulance. Like, we have to call them. We can't just not. I'm like, okay.
She was that girl.
Yeah. And so.
You would probably be that girl now. You'd be like,
yeah.
If I got an ambulance, you're getting an ambulance.
Yeah. But there was another girl that was a Chi Omega. This is all. I didn't deal with any other sorority that day. So all these girls are my sisters, and I didn't even know it.
Which is the whole point. This is so cool doing this with you.
Yeah, so I sat in a chair brought by this random man, and then...
That you've never met.
I don't know why they moved me to a bench. I think they were going to try to walk me inside, like, the student center, but I couldn't make it. I barely made it to the bench. Like, I fell onto the bench. And, yeah, so I ended up there, and that's when I was, like, looking down.
Yeah, so she had told us that for, however long it was, to her, I'm sure it seemed like years, but say it was 45 minutes, she told her dad and I that she was looking at the same 4 sets of shoes. And her dad, again, I told y'all a minute ago, there was 2 important conversations that he had with Lily. And I'd already told you the first one of him saying, just go out there, get to be whoever you want. This is your chance. You can completely reinvent yourself. And the second conversation came, and he said, you need to go find who those shoes belong to, and you need to befriend them, because those girls that would take care of a stranger for 45 minutes, that's who you need to be friends with.
Mm-hmm.
And you took that advice and you ran with it.
Yeah.
And so, do you have anything to add right there?
I don't think I ever put a face to the shoes.
Wait.
Like, I don't know. There was a bunch of girls. I don't think I could be like, oh, so-and-so is there. I know for sure 2 people.
You do.
But the other girls were kind of iffy because somebody was running inside, somebody came back, and then somebody got me water, and somebody ran and picked up the paramedics from the road.
Oh, dear.
So everybody's, like, interchanging. So, like, I never was like,
got it.
These 4 people were the ones standing right there.
Okay. So that helps me to know.
Yeah.
But it would be neat for, if any of your girlfriends heard this retelling, for them to be like, Lily, that was me.
Yeah.
That would be really neat. That would be really neat to find. Whenever I tell the story in social settings, because it quite literally is my favorite story, I say, we took her to school. We took my baby to school. The first call from school was from a paramedic, which it wasn't. It was Sydney, but I already outed myself on that. Whenever I tell this story in social settings, I always tell people that my baby went to school and my first call came from her 24 hours later. Was it Lily? No, it was a paramedic. scariest phone call I've ever received. The second call came from Lily, asking if she could buy a skirt off of Shein so that she could enter into Rush Week.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And it's my favorite. It is my favorite evolution of just how quickly things in your life could turn from you went to a picnic just to be with your one friend that you'd met. You'd met one friend and trusted her, and instead of staying in, you could have stayed at your dorm. Instead of staying in your dorm, get on your phone, taking a nap, you bravely went to a picnic. And I don't even think Lakin was gonna. You had told me that she didn't think she was gonna when she went to the picnic.
Only because there was an ag sorority, but they weren't a part of our Panhellenic sororities. Yeah. So she was like, well, I need more information on that. But they stopped reaching out to her.
Neither of you really did.
Yeah.
And by the end of the picnic and everything that the hubbub that went into that, you both were going to Rush.
Yeah.
And so just the dramatics of a phone call from the paramedics and then a phone call from Lily that she wanted to skirt for Rush. We don't know what Rush is because none of us have done anything Greek. Jay didn't do anything Greek. And then where does that lead, Lil? You go from wanting to buy a Shein skirt to rushing to quickly figuring out that those girls that took care of you would be girls that you would really like to surround yourself with.
Mm-hmm.
So, and so it's just the neatest thing, if not for you fainting, where you would think that fainting would be the most embarrassing, game ending, oops, guess I can't go to school here now. Instead of it being just something just so detrimental and negative in your life that you would have to live off, it created, it kind of seemingly plucked you on a path and put you on an entirely different one. What has that looked like if you feel comfortable sharing? And two, please tell the story of meeting Bryce and him.
God.
And Bryce is her boyfriend, but she didn't know him at the time, so.
He knew who I was, though. Not because he was watching.
No one was.
No one was watching.
No one was watching. It was weird that no one did. Go ahead.
Well, me and Lakin got back to our dorm after we went to dinner with those same girls in the calf.
About that.
Yeah. We went to dinner with them in the calf and then got home. We ran to CVS and got some liquid IV and stuff. And that night, this is the point where everybody's adding each other on Snapchat and stuff. We have a school story.
Okay.
And everybody's getting added. So there's I even tell Bryce, I'm there's these 3 guys that added me, and only one of them made it out of those conversations because they're all just what do you look like? Where do you go to school? And
want to hang out.
Yeah, and me and Bryce's story is he added me off of our school's big story that everybody joins.
Which would have been in August?
Yeah.
Or before?
That night.
Oh, was it that night?
Yeah.
Okay.
That night. Or maybe the next one. But so when he adds, it says added from the story. And the first thing he said to me was, so do you go to commerce? I was and I gave him attitude. And I was yeah, that's how you,
yes.
Did you not just add me off the story?
Right.
And he's well, attitude. And that's the whole story is how I gave him sass the first time I talked to him.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then we started talking, and I was I thought he was a sophomore. I thought he was older. And I was so you're in a frat?
Accent.
And he was I'm a P&M. And I'm I don't know what a P&M means. And I'm so not yet? You're going through recruitment? And he's yeah. I was oh,
what
okay.
is P&M?
Potential new member.
Got it.
And I was oh, okay, cool. And I was so were you at Meet the Greeks today? And he was yep. And he was do you know were you with the sororities? Were you with Chi Omega or Aphi? And I was I was standing with Chi Omega. And he was oh, so do you know who they called the ambulance on? I was like, yeah, that
How
was...
did he see, but nobody else did?
I was like, yeah, that was me. That was me. And yeah, so that's been our joke.
Yeah.
And even up to now. Because the Meet the Greeks for the spring semester, it was inside. So the joke was I was the reason we got it moved inside.
Oh, Lily.
Because something had happened every year, and they just have it outside.
Oh, yeah?
Because they try to get, like, permits to grill and stuff like that, but they never can, so they just end up outside.
Yeah.
And even while it was happening, one of the Sigma Chi advisors is married to a Chi Omega advisor, and he was like, we're wanting to move it inside, they won't listen to us, whatever, and they're like, we're going to try to get it next year. And so the joke is that, like, I was, yeah.
Because we're all in here because of Lily. We're in AC for Lily.
Yeah.
Gosh, Lily. Think of, I mean, something else could have happened this year.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, my goodness. And so that's not really where the story ends. Like, you didn't just kind of casually slip into the background of your sorority. You went after your favorite one. And then what does that kind of look like? Did you go small or did you go
I went, and my big thing was I can't remember if it was before or after, but I saw that there was, like, applications for our Panhellenic Council exec, and that's, like, our 3 sororities, and then over that is Panhellenic.
Okay.
So Panhellenic exec is up here. And so I saw it, and I was like, why not? I didn't even know what it was.
Yeah.
Somebody they sent it to all the new members and was like, y'all should do this. And I was like, okay. And so I think it was me and then another girl that was already on that exec. And then one of my other sisters that was a new member. And I was going to go for recruitment, which would have meant I was over all recruitment, but I didn't know that because I just got here. And so
a lot of learning, and I couldn't tell you anything.
Yeah, so then I went for marketing, just running the Instagram and making merch and all that stuff. And I ended up getting that night.
Which you're really good at.
Yeah. So
like, really good. I don't think you know, Lily, because I think there's so many in y'all's age that's good at it, but I watch your content, and being a content creator, I'm amazed that you know how to do what you do. Oh my gosh. And I didn't even get to tell you guys that Lily, y'all aren't seeing the whole thing, but maybe we can post a picture in the notes, but it goes all the way to the ceiling. And when we had our miscarriage with Abigail, Lily painted this in memoriam. This is Abigail is the white flower. And Lily is the artist of this mural.
Yeah.
Yep. And so where were we? I'm sorry. Panhellenic.
Yeah, I ended up getting a call, and they were like, do you want to be the vice president of marketing? And I was like, yeah. And then it just, that happened. And then it was after we had, like, transitioned to our new exec. So it was a new president than what I'd gotten there with.
Yeah.
And she texted me and was like, our chapter wants to send you to a leadership retreat with fraternity and sorority life on campus. And so I'm like, okay. And so I went, and it was crazy. It was a lot, but I ended up going, and it was really nice.
Yeah, we could not believe that you would go do that. That was in Oklahoma.
In Broken Bow.
Yeah.
We went to this big cabin, and it was like 1 or 2 members from every fraternity and sorority, even like even our D9 chapters.
Yeah.
Which was really nice. Get to meet all of them. That was early January.
Okay.
Because I got that text while we were on our ski trip.
Yeah.
In December.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got back. It was during our spring recruitment, that's our more informal recruitment, that my advisor over the CPC called me randomly, or texted me, was like, can you call me? I was like, oh gosh, I'm in trouble for something that I wasn't.
We're in trouble.
And she said, as you know, because we had to cancel the meeting for the next week because there was a trip. And so she's like, as you know, we have that trip that we're going on to Indianapolis, and with our president and our vice president of recruitment, but our recruitment vice president, she can't go. So I want to see if you want to go. Mm-hmm. And I'm marketing. I'm in the hierarchy. I'm at the bottom, all the way at the bottom, after 6. And so it meant a lot that she asked if I wanted to go. And that was Wednesday night, and we left at 6 a.m. on Friday morning.
Yeah, I remember this really quick.
Yeah, so I called you and was like, what would you think about me going to Indianapolis?
Flying on a plane by yourself.
Yeah, and I didn't have to, it would have been a lot if I had to, make up the money for a ticket or my bag. And, I could have paid for a bag, but so they paid for everything, and I just went.
Yeah.
And, yeah, and it was a lot of fun.
We haven't told everyone also that you got your first job in the midst of all of that.
Yes.
Yeah. Because you always played basketball. Our kind of guideline or what we try to put out is play sports or grab a job. We'll pay for your gas if you're in sports, but if not, you need to have a job. So
yes, I started working at where I am now, December 14 is what I remember.
They threw you into the deep end. That's a serving job. And a friend of ours is one of your bosses now. And she said, has she ever served? And I said, no, she's going to, because we had talked to the owner and he was like, well, she can do the host stand. And so our friend was like, can she serve? And I was like, no. She needs to just do host until y'all teach her. And she said, she was already walking away from me because she'd already decided. She was like, no, she's a farm kid. She can do it. And I believe that Lily, the day we interviewed, did you start that night or the next night? Either that night or the next night, you had big tables in your first shift. So it was baptism by fire. But you had already, thankfully...
Well, I trained with one of my sisters.
In Cayo.
Yeah.
Which
she
is
trained
insane.
me a morning, and then I worked that next week. And got some big tables.
Yes, in your first shift. And here I am, even in a silly way, being like, no, she doesn't know how to do it. Because I don't want people, just like I don't want you to sit at that chair and people be ugly. My platform gets you to a public that's going to be ugly to you. Never wanted that to happen. Now you can take care of yourself. But in public, serving a family that might have some ugliness in it, we try to protect y'all. Even though you're adults, we try to protect y'all from that. And you've experienced a minimal amount of that.
Yeah.
Early on, it kind of got it out of the way.
Yeah.
But it's just been incredible, Lily. It's been such a testament to me. I just know that we were sitting home. We just lost you to college, and now we're watching you on a plane to Indianapolis to do something for a sorority that we just know nothing about. We don't know the processes and the jargon that you were using and the things that you were excited about. We're having to quickly give a good goog and find out what that even means,
Yeah.
And
riding the plane.
Yeah.
And I'm not good with planes either.
That's a lot of people in one little capsule.
Yeah.
And you were just really brave. And Lily, even today, the path that you've taken just to be able to sit at these mics and face your fear and your anxiety about this has been over and over and over, Lily. I watch you and I watch you be brave, and I watch you, even if you have huge tears in your eyes, I watch you stare down fear and just push through it. And I just think that your story is so huge for our listeners to be able to know either that their children can do the same as you, but even as adults, even though you're younger, Lily, your story is huge for us. Huge. I still take some things that I'm learning from watching you and I apply them to my everyday. And it's almost like now that you're an adult, because I tell them all the time, everybody's like, don't blink. I'm like, it's kind of okay if you blink, because then you get this built-in best friend that you actually get to talk about real life with. And now seemingly I'm trying to develop emotional tools and kind of pass them on over. I'm not passing them down to you. I'm passing them over. And then you're kind of showing me what's working for you. And I just want to tell you just how big of a deal I think that you are. So I always like to close out our show with a moment of connection that you experienced this week that just kind of caught you off guard. And I feel like for us, Lily, and for our listeners, it's kind of retraining our brain to look for the good. In the last episode, I made mention of Tony Robbins saying, like, if you can look for, or if I asked you to look around the room for something red, you're going to look for something red. I butchered that story. The story is that he's saying, if I ask you in the next 45 seconds to look around the room for something red, and then when we're done, I ask you for something blue, you're not going to know because you were just looking for the red. I'm sorry I butchered that, but y'all are so used to me doing that. I think you were ready. That's seemingly what I want us to do now, is to kind of walk through our days and our weeks and just kind of looking for those connections and making notes of what is causing us to become a little bit more tethered to this world, especially this week that we've had. And that's, I wanted to see, Lily, if you had one, if you'd like, I'll go first. And mine actually took me a little bit longer. And what I realized is because it wasn't a moment, it was the week. This week I looked for a moment, and this week was the week. And you guys know, with everything that happened this week, how heavy everything could feel around us. And Jay and I had gone to the beach, and there were days of heaviness and tears and depression and confusion and just feeling, I was just constantly reminded, like, this world is not my home. Like, I do not like what I'm seeing here. I just could not believe what I was seeing on my phone. I needed to kind of just put my phone away because of all of the reactions to what was going on, positive, middle of the road, and negative. And I just always thought, I just assumed we would all feel the same about what happened. And when we didn't, it was just very confusing to me. When I felt my moment of connection was that when all of these thoughts and ideas and feelings started occurring, anytime I would talk to Jay about it, we weren't just on the same page, we were in the same paragraph. And this week, there were probably 40 to 50 moments that he could take this kind of perspective, and I would take this one. But somehow during the week, anytime he and I would talk about it, we just felt together. And that was so comforting to me. I know that there was a lot of times where I was like, babe, what if we felt completely different from each other? Because it was such a huge topic that if we would have thought differently, it would have felt separating to me, definitely. But since we could sit together and I would say something and he would agree, and then he would share his heart and I would just fully agree, it was so connective to me. And I wanted to make note that no matter what, I think I'm always gonna have Jay, like the seemingly same page, same paragraph as Jay. And I think, honestly, it's because we have shared our hearts so much with each other that we've become the same person. So did you have anything like that this week where even just something little, like Bryce said something this way or somebody said something this way at work, and you just were like, that's cool. Like, that's what makes me feel like we're all in this together.
Our recent bid day for our class of 25.
Yeah, that was good.
Me last year, this year.
Yeah.
I was a recruitment counselor. I was anonymous through the whole summer. They didn't know I was a Chi Omega. They didn't know I was a part of that. I was just there to help these girls. And so on bid day was when they found out I was a Chi Omega.
Yeah.
But because of that, I didn't go through recruitment with these girls. I was just there standing outside the house, knocking on the door, telling them when to go in.
Yeah.
And so these girls didn't really know me. They didn't have like the deep recruitment question talks with me, whatever. And so on bid day, I felt really behind. I didn't have like a buddy that ran home to me. I didn't have like a girl on my hip taking pictures, because that's what buddies do.
Yeah.
And so I felt really behind and wanted.
You felt disconnected, you said.
Yeah. Yeah. And, like, kind of lonely on the day you literally cannot be lonely. You just had 20 new sisters come home. And we ended up having a sisterhood that night. We went to one of my sister's parents' house and went and had a pool party with 60 girls on this back porch.
Yeah.
But I felt like I was back in high school and thought, oh my God, 60 girls.
And your social
in a pool?
anxiety. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's never come back since
You've
going through
escaped
recruitment.
it.
Yeah. And so I sat in my room and probably cried for like a good hour and then went downstairs and everybody was figuring out rides. I didn't know that if I wanted to, I was going to drive a group of girls, but then they ended up going to different cars and I didn't know that. So I'm standing with my bag and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing because I was supposed to drive and now I'm not.
Yeah.
And then I was supposed to sign a waiver to drive and I didn't know that. So I'm standing there against the wall. I was like, well, now if I don't drive, I can't leave early. Because if I get nervous, I can't leave early.
Right.
And so I ended up riding with my big, which is totally fine. And I rode with them. Thank goodness she knew about the waiver and was able to drive us.
Yes.
And we get there. And one of my best friends, I didn't know she was coming. Because me and her were kind of like...
going, huh? She said she wasn't going.
Yeah. And so I got kind of nervous. Because everybody else kind of had their buddies.
Yeah.
And she was like my buddy that I had already had.
Yeah.
And so I got so excited when she showed up.
Yeah.
And
You saved the day.
yeah. And so we kind of like linked that whole night and just like stayed together. And it just made the whole pool party a lot better because I had somebody to hang out with.
I love
that. I was nervous that I couldn't.
Yeah.
And I ended up being able to like leave with them early and hang out with them and talk and stuff. And
we like being chosen.
Yeah.
We really do. That's why Cam and I are such best friends because she's constantly fully choosing me. She never leaves room for me to wonder. And that's kind of what she did for you that day. I know you told me that she just walked in and threw her stuff down right by me and sat right by me and just made it known she was going to be right by you. We love people that are right by us. I love stuff. I love connection and I love stuff like that. And I'm going to Venmo you $5,000 for being on the show today. No, I do want to tell you again, I know I did a minute ago, but I just do want to tell you, thank you for pushing through something so new and so scary to do this with me. I know you had fear of letting me down, but I promise you it would have been fine. But I just know the amount of people that your story can help to encourage and pull a little further up out of the pit. And I just freaking adore you. I love you so much.
Love you too.
Thank you guys for being here with us today. Join us over in the Facebook group if y'all want to be in a closer connection with all of us. And we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks.